This is infrared sensor footage titled NAG UAP June 1st, 20, likely recorded by a United States military platform operating in the CENTCOM area of responsibility in 2020. The image shows an area of contrast the sensor keeps in view using zoom and pan, while a targeting reticle highlights the feature as the operator or automated tracker follows it. Metadata assembled by the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, indicates 8 members of the House asked for access to 51 potentially UAP-related records in March 2026. AARO identified a cluster of responsive materials on a classified network. Many of the items in that collection lack a substantiated chain of custody, and this video was among files uploaded to the classified network in June 2024. What you see is an infrared representation rather than a visible light image, which emphasizes heat contrast and suppresses color and surface detail. Early in the clip, a distinct area of contrast appears. The sensor zooms and pans to hold that patch in frame, and a reticle is used to mark it. For much of the nearly 5-minute clip, the tracker follows that area of contrast, adjusting zoom levels and panning smoothly. At one point, the target drifts toward the lower left of the scene and briefly moves out of view before the sensor recovers and tracks it again. Toward the end of the clip, the sensor cycles through zooms to keep the area of contrast visible. Infrared sensor perspective shapes what is visible here. Bright and dark in the image map to relative temperatures and to sensor settings, not to the color or material of an object. That makes size, distance, and exact shape harder to determine from a single clip without corroborating data, such as range, altitude, or other sensor inputs. The record associated with this video does not provide an established provenance chain for the file, as it was stored on a classified network, and AARO cautions that a definitive identification cannot be made on the basis of this clip alone. Additional context matters. The clip was identified during a review of records responsive to a March 6, 2026 congressional request that sought access to potentially UAP-related materials held by the Department of War and the intelligence community. AARO cataloged files on a classified network and flagged several items where provenance is unclear. When provenance is uncertain, there is greater ambiguity about collection timing, processing steps, and whether edits or format conversions altered the original sensor output. Technical analysis of infrared imagery relies on corroborating measurements, such as radar tracks, multiple sensor angles, or platform telemetry that provide range and altitude. Lacking those cross-checks, a single infrared clip must be treated as a limited piece of evidence. Automated tracking and operator zoom and pan combine with sensor motion to produce apparent maneuvers, and environmental conditions in the CENTCOM theater can change thermal contrast. Those factors complicate attempts to infer size, speed, or configuration from the frame alone. Because of these uncertainties, the office compiling the collection did not reach a definitive identification for this clip. It remains useful to researchers who can link it to other records, but on its own it does not resolve whether the track contrast is a known aircraft, a small unmanned system, a biological target, or a sensor artifact. The uploader defined the clip as NAG UAP June 1st, 20, and AARO assessed it as likely originating from an infrared sensor aboard a United States military platform in the CENTCOM area in 2020. Explore the case file, related footage, sighting reports, and our weekly UAP news podcast at uapdrop.com.